What is up, guys? My name is Tomcat, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of housekeeping in regards to the LEGO expansion. We're going to be cleaning up a couple of questions that you guys had yesterday in the comments of my first LEGO expansion video, and we're also going to be talking about some things that maybe not everybody knows about the LEGO expansion. So, first of all, let's go over cost and availability. So again, it will be available on the 13th for $20, or if you have the Ultimate Edition or the Expansion Pass or anything like that, it will come included in that. Now, one of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to cover in the other video is what looks like the return of car soccer. Now, we haven't seen car soccer in a Forza game in so many years, I believe since either Forza Motorsport 4 or 5. Regardless, it's been a very long time. Now, I can see that this could possibly be a redeeming factor, maybe, for those that might be saying, oh, this is a horrible expansion, blah, 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 blah. Now, to take a quick second to talk about that, the community's response to the LEGO expansion pack has been, it almost seems like you're either on one extreme or the other. It's like you're either on the extreme that's like freaking out about it and thinks it's the worst expansion ever, and you know, and thinks that it's just like it's the death of the series, or you're on the opposite end of the spectrum, which thinks that it's a really interesting breath of fresh air that could very possibly add some new life to the game. Now, the biggest concern that I've seen from a lot of people is that, oh, well, this is just 100% directed at little kids. And I think it does lend itself to a young audience, sure. But at the same time, if you played with Legos when you were a kid, I can see how this could really, you know, maybe revive some of that, you know, maybe some of that fun that you had with Legos when you were little in Forza, you know? So I think there's definitely a place here for the older players as well, especially if you played with Legos as a kid, getting to enjoy them in a virtual sense. And I just want to make it 100% clear that I think this is a step forward for Horizon in general, because think about it, we're getting a world that's open but also has a closed racetrack in it. That is a huge deal. I mean, the Crew has had that, other racing games have had that, but Horizon has never had a closed racetrack ever in any of its worlds, and that gives us so many new opportunities, right? Because think about, you know, that could be foreshadowing for future Horizon games. Think about convoying with your friends out to a circuit to do a track day. You could legitimately do a track day in a Horizon game. And, you know, yes, right now it'll be in a LEGO world, but maybe in the future it won't be. Maybe in the future we'll actually have a couple racetracks scattered around the world. And if we're talking about realism, that's actually the most realistic way to go to a track day, is you would drive there, then you would do your track day, and then you would drive home. So I think there's a lot of things that people are missing here by just saying, oh, this is LEGO, it's dumb and it's stupid and I don't want anything to do with it. So, again, that's my personal opinion. If you have any other opinions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. But, again, I do want to get that out there that, again, that is my opinion. And, of course, you don't have to use the LEGO cars. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Now, to touch on that circuit again for a quick moment before we move on to anything else, it looks very flowy, very, very flowy. And it looks like a circuit that I could see being, you know, really good for momentum cars, but also high-powered cars alike. And it looks heavily banked, too, which could really lend to some very fast racing. And that's the type of racing that I think is the most fun, especially in a game like this. I mean, if you're talking about fun in racing, it's all about that fast-paced stuff. And, I mean, yeah, sometimes the slow-paced stuff is fun, too, but, man, that fast-paced stuff, it really lends itself well to the Horizon playstyle. And now I'm going to be reading some of your reactions to the LEGO expansion video that I posted last night. And I wanted to go ahead and highlight some of these comments because I feel like we had a broad spectrum of different opinions in the comments the other night. And first off, we have this comment that says, I'm going in with an open mind. I'm a big fan of Legos and Forza, so I'm sure I'll like the combo. That's fair. It seems like, you know, that seems like the place that some people are going into this expansion with. I think that's where I'm kind of, that's where what I'm going into it with. But let's move on to the next one. Now, our next comment says, I hope we can build our own cars. Now, this is an interesting thing because I don't think we'll actually be able to build our own cars. I think we'll only be able to modify them and change a few different things in, like, body kits and wheels and stuff like that. But I know that that's probably a little bit of a letdown for people. But at the same time, as far as building, I think building will be a little bit more related to the houses. Now, this next comment is something I never really thought about, and that is, I wonder if they'll have minifigure customization just like we have customizable characters. Now, that's a really interesting question, and honestly, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm very, very curious myself, because that was one thing that I never actually thought of when I first saw the LEGO expansion, getting out there. I mean, probably because I don't really use the character customization all that much anyway, but if your character does transform into a minifigure, maybe you'll be able to customize them as a minifigure. I don't know. Now, up next, we have a comment that says, if you can build cars and houses, then I'm in. If not, I don't know about it. Now, I know for a fact that the houses will be, you'll basically, the further along you advance, the more you'll be able to build your house. Now, I don't know if you'll have control over that, but I do know that you'll actually, the house will get built up as it goes, right? So the more you actually let that house get built up, the bigger it'll get, the more features you'll have access to. Although, like I said, I don't know if you'll actually be able to choose any aspects of that, of where pieces will go, or have any control over the building process. This next comment says, I think it's slowly growing on me, but it will get old quickly. And I want to know your guys' opinions on this. If you are excited for this expansion, do you think it's going to last a while, or do you think it's going to be something you'll play through in a couple of days and then never touch again? Now, I know that's what Fortune Island was for some people. I mean, I know there are some people that only played it for a week, and then they just dropped it and were like, nah, I'm not interested in this anymore. I'm just, not really bothered about it. And then there were other people that loved it and still play around with it to this day. So let me know how you feel about that particular opinion in the comments below. TC, look at that Lego P1. Senna, am I a joke to you? I didn't really have to include that one, but I figured that I would because it was actually it was funny to me because first of all, I couldn't believe that I made that mistake in the first video, but I decided to leave it in because I decided to leave it in because I figured it would be funny enough, and I'm glad that somebody else picked up on it. Now, this next comment says, I think this DLC is terrible, but at least you can drive normal cars on the new map. That's a plus. Now, if you have this same opinion, that you think, the whole idea of a LEGO DLC in general is an awful idea, but you think there are some redeeming factors to it, like being able to drive normal cars on the new map, let me know, because I think there's going to be a whole group of people that will never touch the LEGO cars, but will still use the map for things like the racetrack and the stunt park, but they'll only use their normal cars, and they won't touch the LEGO cars. If that is your angle on this, if that's your opinion on this, then let me know in the comments below. I'm actually curious as to how many people are going to use the new map, but refuse to use the LEGO cars. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to be that way, but I don't know off the top of my head. I don't really have a prediction on how many people that's actually going to be, or what percentage of the people that play this expansion that's going to be. So again, let me know that in the comments below, and let me know what you guys are thinking as far as that goes. Now, our next comment revolves around destruction physics, and it says, what about car destruction physics? Can only some parts fall, or can the car explode? I believe if you have damage on, from all the gameplay that I've seen, if you have damage on, then occasionally you will see pieces of the car fall off, but you're not going to see the car explode into a million pieces or anything like that. I don't think that that's the case. Now, that is the case with certain destructible items like trees, fences, bushes, flowers, things like that. But, again, I do want to go ahead and reiterate that I do not believe that the cars can actually be destroyed in that way. Now, this next comment is interesting because it says, he says that he's very excited to drive in new areas regardless of whether or not it's LEGO. And I think that's a really interesting thing to point out because I'm all about new areas of the game to drive in. I'm all about, new experiences being brought into an already existing game because I think it extends the life of the game. But that takes us back to a discussion that we had earlier on whether or not this will actually extend the life of the game all that much, because it seems that right now the community around Horizon 4 has a slightly short attention span. So whether or not this update lasts well or ages well remains to be seen. But at the same time, I think it might actually make room for some new experiences. It might make room for sort of some Hot Wheels-esque experiences. And I think that's what the stunt park really actually shows, is that there are definitely going to be elements of Hot Wheels here. I mean, there's big jumps. It almost feels like a Hot Wheels world that looks sort of Lego-ish. I mean, I know that's kind of like a weird thing to say, but I mean, if you take the Lego label off, it's got a lot more in common with Hot Wheels than with anything else that's been in Forza to this day. So, if you guys enjoyed this video and you have any other opinions you would like to drop in the comments, please do drop them down there. I would love to talk to you guys about all of your opinions in regards to Lego. I'm all about the communication. I'm all about the community, and maybe you'll get your comment highlighted in the next video. So, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you all later.